Such a good rivalry that we have it on the ESPN3 Game of the Week. 2 weeks in 3. Welcome to ESPN3's coverage of the United Soccer League from Phoenix, Arizona and Rising Soccer Complex. Phoenix and Orange County set to play in mere moments. Hello, everybody. Alongside Morgan Conklin, Mike Watts. Phoenix is on a 6-game unbeaten streak. They could get a franchise record tonight. Orange County has not won in their last 8. They could also set a less enviable record. When you look at this Orange County team, they need a big goalkeeping performance to stay in it.
And Charlie Lyon has really been one of their most consistent players, and he just continues to impress. Words that we heard from Logan Paz earlier this week. He continues to come up big for his team. You always want a goalkeeper that can be the anchor of your back line, the anchor of your team, and he's been just that for Orange County.
And he's only made a couple mistakes this year. The problem is one of them was to Chris Cortez last time these teams met.
Cortez definitely gave Lyon some trouble. He was able to jump on a soft pass, poor touch from Lyon. We don't often see that from him, but Cortez was able to jump on it and get the finish. But Chris Cortez is also a player that's extremely dangerous in the run of play. He has a big frame. He's able to finish. When we spoke with head coach Patrice Carderon, he said he thinks there's more goals coming from him soon. So that's something to watch out for tonight.
And Cortez, the first goal in Orange County's new stadium's history. Here are the Western Conference standings, Morgan. And quite frankly, this game means a lot because both have games in hand, but the season is slowly coming to a close.
And I think that's one of the most important things, is to look at games in hand. When we spoke with both coaches, they're in a need-to-win mentality. The postseason has already almost started for them. They have to continue to win because Phoenix is just on the cusp. Orange County can still make a run, especially with the games left.
And, of course, why does this matter? Not only playoff position, but who you might play. Not that any of the top 4 teams are enviable right now, but where are you going to go? That's a question to be asked.
And I love seeing this visual. Obviously, there's still many more games to play. More could change, but it's tough looking at those top couple seeds who just continue to separate themselves. It's definitely going to be a tough bracket once we see the top 8.
So positively must win, perhaps for both teams. Both coaches talking about how important this matchup could be. Drogba not available tonight for an offense that's moving much better of late. 3 goals in the last 4 games for Orange County. They got to get it going. The action comes your way next.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
We built the USL into the largest Division II professional soccer league in the world. And now the time has come to announce USL Division III, America's professional 3rd division league, completing the U.S. pro soccer landscape. It's time for your town, your team, your game. D3 will fuel local pride and local passion, creating a new legacy for the beautiful game and inspiring its tribal following across the country. This is professional soccer, built on a disciplined financial model and operational excellence, featuring exciting venues to thrill fans, in hungry new markets yearning for the game. USL Division III, professional, passionate, proven. Pro soccer starts here, coming in 2019. For more information, visit usld3.com.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
Kickoff just moments away. Orange County on the road to take on Phoenix Rising. How about 2 new players signed in the last 8 hours? Rodrigo Pacheco and Walker Hume, new to the lineup.
We spoke with Logan Pauls about Irvin Parra and kind of his entrance into this team, and he knows it takes a while for players to get used to the team. So for a team who's trying to make a push and trying to find that chemistry, they're really jumping in, and he's just hoping for the best.
On the other side, Phoenix feels really good about how they're playing right now, so the only change, Matt Watson is back.
And I love Matt Watson and Kevon Lambert in the middle together. I think those two work so well. Keep an eye out for Watson pushing a little higher, and Lambert will find his way in behind.
We'll see how those two work together. Their first start together in the Phoenix Rising starting lineup. Phoenix and Orange County, the United Soccer League game of the week on ESPN3. Set to kick off in just seconds. It's a team without Didier Drogba tonight on one side. Walito Fernandez and Shola Abalaji are unavailable for Orange County. We are underway from Phoenix. It's a massive game at the bottom of the playoff picture in the Western Conference. Phoenix hosting Orange County in a massive midweek fixture. An early touch for Oscar Sorto, the 23-year-old California native. Back by Kevon Lambert. It's a bit amazing when you think about Orange County, because we were talking with Patrice Carteron about new faces in the lineup for him, in particular Kevon Lambert, since these teams last met. But there are 3 players for Orange County who weren't on the roster 5 days ago.
And that was something interesting when we spoke with Logan Pauls about how is this team different from the team that played Phoenix last game. And we weren't exactly talking about personnel. We were just talking about what kind of growth has happened. It's only been a couple of weeks, but still, games are played, trainings happen. We were asking about that, and obviously, this really is a different team in terms of the personnel. We didn't really think we were going to get that answer, but it obviously opened up the door to that.
Cortez nods it wide. Jason Johnson, who's on a tear, 5 goals in his last 8 games. A back pass with not nearly enough. Watson able to take it back despite the pressure from Pacheco. Johnson, it's a give and go, snapped away by Sorto. Vasquez throwing in towards the byline, and it's whipped across, and not a play by Jason Johnson. And our first look at Charlie Lyon. 5 shutouts on the year. Top 10 in the league in save percentage. 25 years old, out of St. Charles, Illinois. And of course, that one big mistake stands out from the last time these two teams met. And the first time they met back in June, Didier Drogba beat him from 30 yards away in stoppage time on nearly the last kick of the game to draw against Orange County away.
And that goal that he let up against Chris Cortez in the last meeting was really just a poor touch and very uncharacteristic for a player like Lyon, who's so solid back there. And that's one that you hope that he just brushes off, because unfortunately every now and then it happens, mistakes happen. But he's a player that doesn't happen too often. He's good with his feet. He likes the ball. He's confident back there. And like I said in the open, he's the anchor of his team. So you hope he moves past that. It's unfortunate to see. On the other end of that, you don't often see a forward choose to pressure and then continue with the pressure. It was just a really nice job from Chris Cortez as well to really force him to try to clear it at that point. But it's unfortunate. But I mean, Charlie Lyon has been fantastic for Orange County. Tough season for them so far, but he's really been solid.
Ball kicked ahead by Van Avijk. Back now to Pacheco, who's had a starring role in the early going on the ball for this Orange County side. Taken away by Johnson. Cortez playing Sean Wright Phillips, who sends it long. Alessandro Rigi may well catch up to it. Rounding towards the byline, service was aimed in. Walker Hume, the FC Dallas loanee, added to the roster a mere 3 hours ago, putting a head to it. Rigi couldn't take it from Chaplow. By Wright Phillips. Now Hume. Seguda going backward. come to 6'5" defender Walker Hume. That's pretty noticeable among a back line that doesn't have a ton of size.
And he's obviously a player with experience, but can really help out against this Phoenix team, going against players like Chris Cortez, who is big, uses his body well.
This is fired from range, well over Josh Cohen. Out of play. First opportunity for Orange County comes in the 5th minute. It's Rodrigo Pacheco trying to make the ultimate first impression. Signed by Los Angeles FC and sent on loan to Orange County. And Josh Cohen, the former Orange County Blue, is on the ball. It's start 5 in total for Wazinski this year. The rest belonging to Cohen. 4 of the last 5 have been started by Wazinski, so he's kind of reclaimed a starting role of sorts of late. It was fired on the ground and well wide of Charlie Lyon.
I think Johnson could have kept that ball at his feet and tried to create from there. He could have passed out. He's really good wide when he can get him behind, but you see him taking that quick shot because the ball is bouncing back and forth. No team can find possession. He thought he had a little bit of space, but he just gets on the end of this. It goes back and forth a couple times. No team really settles. He has a player on his back, a player in front of him. I don't think that shot needs to happen. Obviously, his team isn't spaced out where they would like to be in terms of the transitions that kept happening and the turnovers, but I don't think that shot needs to be forced.
It's Franco on the ball for Orange County. Oliver. Van Avike off of Vasquez. Hey, fan step to date. The latest USL news and information from around the league is on USL Coast to Coast, Sirius XM FC, Channel 85, 4 p.m. Pacific, Mondays only on Sirius XM FC. Ball lined across it at base. Oliver overshot everybody. Still alive for Orange County. Second ball in. Well, they thought they'd have a good opportunity to take a shot at that. Para ultimately comes free to Cohen.
And you can see what happens when new players are inserted into lineups, inserted into teams. They don't have a lot of time to adjust to one another, to get used to how each other play. Para wanted that ball that was coming his way. I don't think it would have fallen right to him. You see his actions after, not happy with the ball not coming to him. I don't think it would have had a clean path right to him. I don't think Phoenix would have given him that. But you can just see that the communication isn't there yet, the understanding that there's another option behind with Para in behind there. And I think that's some of the things that Orange County has to deal with in terms of adding players late in the season and putting them into lineup, but also it's just something that they're going to figure out as they continue to play.
When we spoke this week with Logan Paws, Orange County's first-year head coach, he said Irvin Para had some skills that the team otherwise did not possess without him, and that means they need to figure out how to play with him a little bit better.
And when we've spoken with him the last couple of weeks, and his big thing is just trying to get his team to play simple, not doing anything crazy, not doing too much individual, just playing simple and playing as a team. And I think by him bringing in a player that they might be missing those skills, it's allowing players to play to their strengths, but not having to do more and not having to do something outside of their realm of what they can do or what they're really good at. We spoke a lot about Jerry Van Avike, and he said he's really good when he plays simple, but as of late, he's trying to put a little bit more on himself just because the team isn't doing as well as they would like to. And that happens all across the board. That was just one example. And I think by Logan Paws and Orange County bringing in these players, it's to try to have them gel with what they already have. And then if you can bring in a player that can succeed in a different way, it allows the players that you have to play to their strengths and not have to do much beyond that.
Stewart and Ramage, who have been part of the Phoenix equation all along at center back, taking over. Von Lambert has a unique role to try and figure out as well with this Phoenix side. New to the equation at the holding midfield position. Struck long. Sean Wright Phillips all the way towards the corner flag and nearly skids out. Throw for Orange County. Pacheco got by, already showing a nice burst of acceleration off of Stewart. Chaplow trying to provide a bit of pressure. Comes free to right, Phillips. Up the line, Vasquez. That's going to go well over. Didn't quite strike that well enough with Cortez running down the middle.
Vasquez is going to want that opportunity back. He's also going to have more opportunities. If he keeps getting forward, brings his run wide, you could see he was trying to bend it around, just a little too casual there, wasn't able to get his hips all the way around, but that's a good sign, seeing an outside back it forward, because he had runners in the box. The service was the one part that was off. So if he does that again, hopefully the runners are there once again, because that's a good look for Phoenix, finding the ball wide and then going towards the goal.
0-0, 11th minute between Phoenix and Orange County in the USL game of the week. Phoenix looking for a third consecutive victory that could well have them on their way towards a better, more sturdy playoff position. They have the most games in hand, 10 games remaining on their season, of any team in the USL. They sit in 8th place in a crowded Western Conference table. All the way to the byline, and Wakasa allows it out. A goal kick for Josh Cohen and Phoenix Rising. Cohen, one of many new faces to this Phoenix franchise in a stadium that was built in all of 53 days. A pop-up stadium with nearly 7,000 up to 8,000 capacity, which more often than not has been full this season. Ahead of Sorto and right down the Jamaican international Lambert. Chaplow, the former English Premier League and Championship player. Karam's down to Johnson. Options, Rigi. Alessandro Rigi sent it over the bar. All long range so far in the early going, but you never think Rigi's out of his sorts no matter where he shoots from.
Rigi is a player that can be dangerous wherever he is, especially when he gets near goal. I like how Johnson brings his run central because it gives him many options. He can find Wright Phillips, he finds Rigi. The first touch wasn't exactly clean, wasn't as clean as it normally is from him. Wasn't pushed out enough so you could see the ball get caught under his feet just a tad, so he wasn't able to hit that ball as cleanly as he would have liked.
Signage down. The play continues. Wright Phillips trying to sneak by Richard Chaplow, and now Lyon. Hey, soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the United Soccer League. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. Jason Johnson. It falls right back to him off Sorto. He shot it wide. Good opportunity created by Jason Johnson in the 13th minute, and Phoenix really constricting on Orange County now.
One thing that makes Jason Johnson so tough to defend is you don't know if he's going to try to go wide and use his speed. You don't know if the ball is going to be played to him in behind. If he's going to play the ball wide like he just did to Rigi, or choose to go himself. Got a little lucky with the bounce that came back to him off of Sorto, and then was able to follow up. Those are difficult. You don't know when, if they're going to come back to you. If they do, where they're going to go. He tried to make the most of it, but obviously just missed wide.
Lambert pushed down Para on the ensuing goal kick. Sliding challenge by Wakasa. Orange County collects. Crossfield pass, well done. Van Avijk driving in underneath Vasquez, cleared by Lambert. Johnson, long run, got there before Chaplow. Cut out into Franco. Van Avijk. This time moving central. Van Avijk, a curler that just snuck wide. Up and down we go. Van Avijk this time from distance.
That looked like it was curling into that far post. Van Avijk dances a little bit, finds that little inch of space that he needs with a beautiful strike from his left foot. Cohen got lucky there. That was finding its way to the corner. A beautiful strike, just a touch wide.
Well, it looks like the goalkeepers don't really need to worry about anything inside the 18 right now because neither team seems too interested in that area. Quarter of an hour gone as Ramage will chase after it. Ramage skying it toward Franco. Skims off his head and out. Vasquez, header by Cortez, is up and over. Hume providing the defense with 15 minutes gone.
That's going to be a fun matchup to watch, especially balls played in, whether it's from a corner across. Seeing Chris Cortez and Walker Hume go against one another. I said it earlier, big, strong frames. Chris Cortez is not afraid of a challenge, especially if he's near goal. Walker Hume has proven that he's just strong. He's a defender trying to get the ball out. So that's going to be a fun matchup to watch, especially on set pieces.
Lambert stepping in again. He really has been all over the field. Regi, well, numbers getting forward. Regi leading that charge. Cortez, Johnson deflects, and that's out. A corner for Phoenix Rising. First good set piece opportunity for either side.
I like how you see Regi combine with Cortez higher up the field, and it allows for other players to get forward. It allows Johnson to find that space because Cortez had left it.
Sean Wright-Phillips preparing for the corner. Wright-Phillips out swinger toward Ramage, comes down, Regi. Alessandro Regi helping to create that simply by his burst on what could have been a give and go, but in the end, he almost opened up more space for Johnson through his effort.
And that's one thing, oftentimes we talk about movement, and that's why it's so important, because it's not just moving to find the ball, it's moving to open up space for your teammates. It's moving to pull a defender out of their spot so another can go into it. I think that's why when we talk with coaches who say they want to see movement, when we see it on the field, that's one of my favorite things, because that's just teamwork, working for one another to make your teammates' job easier.
Well done. Great a bit of space here by Pacheco, and now all the way out to Franco. Van Eyck serving the ball over the box. It's a push from behind on Parra. Cohen was able to yank this down. Shaking the hand between Parra and Stewart. We spoke about Jerry Van Eyck and the service that he can provide. At times he looks like a real world beater, and at other times I think he lacks a bit of consistency.
And he was another player, I mentioned earlier that Logan Paul just said he needs him to play simple. And I think that's one thing, if you're inconsistent and maybe lacking confidence, if you play simple, it allows you to do the easy things well, and that's what builds confidence. That's what allows you to be more consistent. And I think for him, it's just, he's a player that his team expects a lot from. So if the team isn't doing as well as they would like, he's a player that's going to put that on himself and try to do more to make up for the lack of wins or the lack of points and what they wish, where they wish that they were at this point in the season.
Johnson away from Chaplow. Van Eyck, 24 goals over 3 years in the Dutch league. Regi out of the reach of Cortez, cleared by Hume, and now Chaplow carries ahead. A Burnley youth, over 300 games played in England. Preston West End playing at Burnley, West Brom. The USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues on the planet. It features some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date all the latest league news and information by visiting uslsoccer.com and follow on Twitter at USL. Chaplow. It's a well-weighted ball toward the corner. Carlos Alvarez stepped away. Casa immediately back in to defend. Checo. Chaplow. Oliver. Franco Oliver. Away from Para. Came over from Seattle Sounders too with 6 goals on the year. Sent up the left-hand flank. Sorto. Offs it out of play. "20 minutes gone, and there's been no early goal or red card." And when we spoke with Logan Pause, he said the game plans kind of got thrown out the window in the earlier edition of this meeting. He thought the game plans would be a little more similar to what they had planned last time than what ended up happening, and so far a stalemate.
I think just something I'd want to see, I would have liked to see by the 21st minute, and something that I want to see more of is not settling. I think both these teams are settling for opportunities when they don't have to. They're creative players on both sides. They're strong attackers on both sides. Why settle for a shot far outside the box when you don't have to? Why not be patient and build up?
Because it would look like a really good goal.
Sometimes a build-up would look better, Mike.
Spoken like a true outside back.
I mean, honestly, I think if the ball goes in the back of the net, that probably looks better than something that doesn't.
So far, that would make a lot of sense. Lofted right into Stewart. Off the head of Hume. Quick to trot down. Gets it from Lyon. Only 100 degrees in Phoenix still. It was over 100 again today in Arizona. Crazy weather. Up the far side touchline. Lofted toward Para. Para holding back. Chaplow. Oliver. Away from Rigi, but out of play. Ball kids back to work again. Cody Wakasa looking to throw in. Out of Cal Poly. Roseboro, California native. Off the head of Cortez. Out of Mission Viejo, some 15-20 minutes away from Orange County Great Park, where OCSC calls home. Johnson couldn't keep the handle. Chaplow. Casa was a bit out of his sorts, but did find Rigi in the end. Cortez fouled from behind by Hume.
One thing that Logan Paul said before the last matchup between these two teams is they didn't want to give up silly fouls, especially against Chris Cortez. Paul said he knows that this team knows that Cortez is a player that likes contact, that will try to draw it in order to get his team a free kick. So there they can get away from it based on where it is, but that's something to be weary of, especially near goal.
Vasquez. Sean Wright Phillips sends it wide. Cortez working his way into the box now. Wakasa serves toward Johnson. Would not steer that on frame in the 24th minute.
Johnson continuing to stay dangerous, whether the ball's at his feet, in behind, off across. He finds his way to the back post and just tries to get up for it. That's a place Franco has done a great job defending him. I think Franco will have trouble in terms of the balls to the back post if Johnson goes up for them, just in terms of the difference in size. Franco does a nice job just trying to get in the way, but that's almost a free header for Johnson.
We got a chance to talk with both coaches this week, and we asked about both players, and it seemed like that was the matchup that we were looking to see. Para shoved down by Stewart out over the end line. It's a goal kick to Phoenix, and so far we've seen those two match up a couple of times.
And it's definitely a good one to watch. It happens for the most part on the bottom left of the screen with Johnson going up the left side of the field for Phoenix. Obviously Franco playing the right back position. When we spoke with Logan Pauls, he said Franco's the first thing he needs to do is be a strong defender. That's his first thing. If he can get forward and force Johnson to defend him, that's an extra plus. But his first thing is to defend strong against Johnson. They know he's a threat. They feel comfortable in Franco and his 1v1 abilities. But it's been good to watch them because they're obviously different players. Johnson, very good 1v1 attacking, fast.
Trying to sneak around Franco here, and he just wouldn't stop running. Hey, Phillips on the turn. We almost saw everything you were saying come to life in real time. Regi out of the reach of Johnson. Vasquez tackling Van Avijk. Hey fans, stay up to date. The latest USL news and information from around the league is on USL Coast to Coast. Mondays, 4 p.m. Pacific on Sirius XMFC, Channel 85. And don't forget, XMFC airs the USL Game of the Week. Check uslsoccer.com for dates and times. Anthony Pulis of Orlando City B was on this week. They're on a 12-match unbeaten streak in the Eastern Conference. And they'll host Thursday a game at Orlando City Soccer Stadium against cellar dweller Richmond Kickers. Obviously, our thoughts going out to those that could be in the path. Hurricane Irma, including those in Orlando and the state of Florida. Still hoping for all the best. Meanwhile, here in Phoenix, nothing but hot weather, and right now a 0-0 affair in the 27th minute. Chaplow did not get the touch he wanted, goes in strong. Watson brought down, and Chaplow at the minimum gets a talking to.
Watson was quick to jump on that ball. He saw right away that Chaplow didn't really get a touch on it, slid under his foot. I love how quick Watson was to step to that ball. At that moment, Chaplow knows he's not going to get the ball back, is just trying to stop the play. There's no harm intended in that one. He's just trying to stop it to allow his team to drop back and defend.
Steered well by Cortez, and Johnson outwitted. And the clearance, there's a foul behind the play. It appeared they had done well to take that out of the equation, and it's Franco the guilty party in the 28th. Well, that's the silly foul that we were talking about.
And that's not something that you want to give up to any team, but especially Phoenix, with the players that they can put on the ball. Sean Wright Phillips, the players they have in the box that can finish, especially this close to goal. It's just not a foul that you would like to give up if you're Orange County.
Sean Wright Phillips has taken the vast majority of opportunities to serve this year. He leads the team in chances created with 40. Wright Phillips, that's just over. Cortez, hands on his face, thought he had put that over at first, and then he was appealing for a corner. Ooh.
That's what we call a missed call.
Hindsight 2020.
Definitely that should have been a corner kick. Came directly off an Orange County player. I see the frustration with Phoenix. Normally, I was a player that tried to tell the ref something even when it wasn't right.
No. You weren't in the box. You weren't tall enough to be in the box.
That's true. I was
Patrice
waiting.
was an outside back too, but he was tall enough to get in the box, Morgan.
Don't call me out like that.
I'm not.
I was the one waiting, even though I hate shots from far out. I was the one waiting behind. Maybe I'll shoot it. Usually I would cross it back in. That was my thing.
Someone's got to do the dirty work of waiting 25 yards behind for the ball to just come free to them with no contact.
Okay, but let's make it clear. Just because I wasn't in the box doesn't mean I can't tell the ref that I think it should be our ball.
She played for Virginia Tech. I didn't play at all. It's a liver. Nearing the half-hour mark, Morgan Conklin alongside Mike Watts with you for the United Soccer League Game of the Week. That's a nice drop pass. Lifted cross field. Van Avijk, a long run into the corner. Gets by Vasquez, sends the service, diving header by Stewart. Now Phoenix tries to get numbers out the other way. Wright Phillips off the head of Sorto, Franco. Cortez sliding a perfect pass to Van Avijk, who doesn't have any numbers in the box. Now some options. Van Avijk skips off the top of the net. It was off of Vasquez, and the first corner for Orange County comes in the 31st, going on the 32nd.
For a team like Orange County that's trying to keep things simple, that's been their big word lately. Van Avijk does a really nice job of holding the ball till some of his teammates show up, but he needs more help there. He does a nice job just of being aware, pulls the ball back, obviously is then able to build back up, but he's alone in that moment.
A liver steered away. Cortez all the way back at his own goal line. Offed it up a second time, brought down calmly. Lambert got a touch. Comes free, Oseguda! Not nearly good enough.
I like how Orange County didn't force originally. They were able to bring it back, able to find Oseguda, who strikes the ball very cleanly. Cortez tries to come over and pressure him, isn't there soon enough. Does a really nice job of striking through that ball. Obviously just missed wide. I don't know what it is about the center of the box. Anything in the box. I guess neither team wants to try to attack there.
And it's not like they haven't been close a few times, but they haven't hit the back of the net just yet. Vasquez, first touch. Van Avijk isn't able to put enough on to play Para. Hey, soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the United Soccer League. More information by visiting NikeSoccer.com. Cortez, Johnson. Alvarez slid that the other way. Couldn't find Oseguda. Side sitting in 8th in the USL's Western Conference. It was not 2 months ago that Patrice Carteron took the team over. They've lost just twice in 11 games. They'll win a 3rd consecutive game here tonight. 6 unbeaten for the first time in franchise history. One that really hasn't seen a lot of winning in the past as Arizona United, but new team, new attitude, certainly new players. A lot of stars for this Phoenix group that are beginning to come together at the right time of the season. Wright Phillips has acres of space. Kevon Lambert The box is lava, Morgan.
And that's what it seems like. I mean, I really don't understand. It just comes across as lazy. I think it comes down to not wanting to make a decision, not wanting to do something different, not wanting to take a chance. I mean, I guess you're taking a chance shooting a ball from 20, 25 yards out, but why not build up? Why settle for that?
It just looked like there were 4 red jerseys that could have made a run alongside.
And I think that's what it is. It's players looking around, and at least in that opportunity, Lambert looking around and thinking he didn't have anything else. So guess what that comes down to? Movement. Moving for your teammates, creating space. So that doesn't have to be the only option, because that's really all that we've seen from either side.
Van Avike. Chaplow getting a bit more forward now. Watson arrived and eventually pulled at the back of Chaplow. Pacheco. By Wright Phillips, English Premier League star, and overplayed the left-hand wing for Alvarez. Rather check Oseguda getting forward.
And you can see the communication around the middle of the field. Orange County trying to get on the same page. And I think you can definitely point the finger at having new players, having players that haven't played in a while, stepping on the field tonight. But at the end of the day, most of these guys have been training together, and I think if it's not working, if you've tried the ball for the run and it's just not working, play simple. That's what they want to do, play simple, build up, simple passes, find the ball wide, find it back to the center. Richard Chaplow is very capable of playing a simple pass and a good pass to his teammates. They just have to move and give him options. I think for Orange County, for a team that wants to play simple, that's what they have to do, especially with so many new faces when they're trying to figure it all out.
And it can be counterintuitive, and Logan Paws alluded to that. It comes from a good place, wanting to have 5, 6, 7 touches, but sometimes it's just better to get the ball off your feet and keep it moving.
And it's all trying to just make your team better. It's not like any of these guys are putting the team on their back and wanting to do it all themselves. It's just trying to make up for what's not there and maybe just doing a little bit more than they need to do.
Franco searching for an option. Para, Franco. Sean Wright Phillips combining with Johnson. Wright Phillips galloping upfield and cut off. Para looking to get in behind Vasquez. He does now. Para continuing on. Irvin Para slid away by Stewart, and Lambert clears it up the near touchline.
That is fantastic defense from Jordan Stewart, and then Peter Ramage on the backside of that. The two of them working together. You could see the way they squeezed centrally to not allow Para space when he decided to cut it to his left foot.
I thought you were going to say great defense from Vasquez. Less so. It's Ramage. Now Regi. Para's had a great year with Seattle, but a couple of changes in Cascadia. Saw Vian Bijev also moved to Sacramento by Portland this week in a fairly significant loan deal. Teams loading up before the playoffs as best they can. And these teams are running out of time to make those additions work for them. And so with Orange County, you look and you say 9 games left. There's enough time to try and get some of these players moving in the right direction. Stewart trotting ahead. Gets by Para and continues on. Sends it toward the wing. And Vasquez not on the same page.
This is what I was talking about with the strong defense centrally. Vasquez just tries to use his body, just gets beat by Para, but you see how Stewart is jockeying him. He's waiting for Para to make the first move. He's ready with his feet. He can turn either way. And then Ramage sliding over centrally really closes down that gap, so when Para tries to split them, both players are there to stop the ball.
Chaplow. Para doing really well to outwit Vasquez in that moment. Service sent across the box. Vasquez nods it. Lambert allows it further. Player down for Orange County. Numbers getting forward for Phoenix. Kicked out by Hume as Regi is on the move. Player down is Pacheco, who was loaned in approximately 8.5 hours ago. Back to his feet, not too much of a problem. Regi dealt with a bit of a knee injury earlier this year. Back near 100%. Johnson widens further. Vasquez, Van Avijk on defense. Johnson curling around. Retreating Regi. Ramage. Chaplow stepped in, and Hume on the ball now, firing it up the field. And Stewart for Cohen. The USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world. It features some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date on all the latest league news and information by visiting uslsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter @USL. Handful of games across the USL docket tonight. Lofted to Regi, works in on Hume. Regi entering the area, running into Hume right at the edge of the 18-yard box, and there's about a foot difference between those players, and Regi falling straight to the ground.
At that point, it's almost like running into a brick wall, the wall of Hume, especially the way Regi is cutting him, slicing, tries to go wide. He takes a shoulder as he tries to get by Hume. If I'm Phoenix, I'm not sure why they haven't found Regi more. The way that he gets wide, the way that he can go 1v1, because if they go more to Regi, then they have other opportunities to come back to Johnson, because Orange County is now worried about which side they're going to attack.
Just outside the 18-yard box. Didier Drogba not available tonight. Orange County would be having flashbacks in this moment. Instead, it'll be either Cortez or Wright Phillips. Sean Wright Phillips approaching. It is Chris Cortez. He's going for the back post, couldn't lob Lyon. Lyon yet to really be tested yet. Last time we spoke with Logan Paz, he said he's not surprised by anything that he's doing, just amazed by what he's put together this season. As a foul beyond the midfield line, and Irvin Parr, the player, down. Parra, who spent 7 years over in Germany, signed with Seattle, coming over to Orange County with his wife, expecting a second child. Made his debut against Reno for Logan Paz. Orange County side that really needs a scoring punch. He scored 6 times this year for Seattle, more than any individual player has for Orange County this season, although Sounders, too, a much higher scoring offense on the whole. Referee pointing to the back of his head as Parra will walk off being checked on. Babakor Jallo, the 42-year-old Gambian, is the referee this evening. Van Avijk with Parra off the field, looking to serve, and Vasquez is down now. Ball lining off his head. Jalo waving to the Phoenix trainer. And he'll have to come off.
That's a tough knock to take. Van Avijk has a quick little cut, gets the ball exactly where he wants on his right foot. Vasquez, you see with his hands behind him, just trying to go for the block, and it just hits him in the head. Those are always dangerous ones, kind of scary, because as a defender, you don't want to flinch and turn away, but obviously when a player gets under it, sometimes that happens.
So it's a corner for Orange County. Headed down and out of play. White steer it on frame. 45th minute stoppage time set to begin in the opening half. Going out of Sunnyvale, California, 4 years at UC San Diego. And that's the end of the first half. Stalemate 0-0. Neither team getting a shot off inside the area with either foot. Neither goalkeeper really tested. And Morgan, through 45 minutes, a share of the spoils for each.
We've seen these two sides struggle to take the lead against one another. We've seen them struggle to really establish a tone and a tempo. And I think coming out of half, I want to see both teams regroup. And how do they come out? It needs to be more energy, and it has to be better.
0-0 at the half. Highlights, stats when we come back. I thought so. Tellicher, that was some dark humor shooting that guy, the reap. The players have retaken the field. No, those are different players, but Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex will hopefully see a couple goals here and a couple in the second half. 0-0 between Phoenix Rising and Orange County Soccer Club through 45 minutes. Meanwhile, thoughts and prayers going well beyond the confines of this pitch. They go out to those affected by Hurricane Harvey in Texas and Louisiana. The USL encouraging fans to donate to the American Red Cross at 1-800-RED-CROSS or texting the word Harvey to 90999 to make a donation.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
Why do you not get me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing.
I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels.
After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak.
Meals on Wheels, coming to my door as someone who's housebound, having someone check on me, assures me that I'm not forgotten.
Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise.
We're the clients.
We are the clients.
We are the clients of Meals on Wheels.
America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
We do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
What's been unusual is that we gelled from the beginning, and since then it's carried on throughout the season. It carried on through preseason, and then now we're continuing. Now we're getting towards the end of the season.
Yeah, when the group got together down in preseason and we were training with the first team, we were kind of just looking around like, yeah, we got a good squad, you know. Like when we get back and it's just the Monarchs, we have a team that could do something really special. And so having that time together in preseason and pushing ourselves against RSL and against the first team guys was a great experience and opportunity, and kind of gave us some bonding heading into our season, and we knew we had a special group.
You can't just look at it as a slice, right? Because the investment is the club as a whole in building integration at every level. If you're going to think that way, you have to build the facilities, you have to invest in the team, you have to do everything that you need to do to make sure that at every level you're driving success, and I think that's what we've done.
I think there's a standard throughout the whole organisation now, from top to bottom. And I think with the new facility, that's only going to increase the level, only going to increase the standard and the quality of everything within the club.
Purpose-built for USL. It'll be a fun game experience. It'll be a nice place for them to have a home field, and it'll be right at the training facility, which will be great.
This is the next step, obviously, with the academy being there. The Monarchs will be there. The first team will be training there.
But this is unlike anything else in the USL, and I think it's going to be a big game changer for us.
And so now to have our own place that's not going to be as big, but it's going to be just as full, it's going to be incredible for the team.
But for the Monarchs, it'll be great because we're getting on average 3,000 fans or so, and I think it'll be even more next year as the Monarchs continue to improve and kind of set the standard in the USL.
The players' goals have evolved as the season has, and their expectations have got greater. And I think they now understand that until we have a USL championship, they haven't aspired or they haven't reached the goal that we ultimately want.
Mark Briggs and Mike Pecky putting together quite a team in Salt Lake City. Real Monarchs well clear, seemingly, of everybody in the West, but falling to San Antonio last time out. Who knows? Maybe things have opened up. Meanwhile, the bottom of the playoff picture coming into focus. Number 8, number 11. Highlights from the first half after this. It's a scorcher in Scottsdale, Arizona. Welcome back to the ESPN3 United Soccer League Game of the Week. Phoenix Rising in Orange County, scoreless through 45. Mike Watts with the former Virginia Tech Hokie Morgan Conklin. How about we look at the first half highlights? There's so very many to choose from. Jason Johnson was all over the field, and there were a couple turnovers that could have resulted in something of significance.
And he was really busy, especially early. He found himself central, would find it wide here. He was on the end of just a deflection, a lucky deflection for his team, and tried to finish. I liked how he was just dangerous because you didn't know where he was going to go. Once again, found himself on the lucky end of a deflection, was able to get another shot off.
Another deflection coming free to Jason Johnson, who drives ahead, finds Regi, whose final effort sails over.
And that's why Johnson's dangerous. The last two highlights, you saw him go himself. Here, he passes off to Regi. His first touch just isn't clean enough, gets stuck under his feet a little.
Maybe one of the better looks of this first half. Van Avijk nearly curled that in.
And this was a fantastic chance from Van Avijk. Takes on his players, finds the ball central, and just needs a little space to get that shot off.
Meanwhile, moving forward, Cortez and Johnson arriving in the box, skims off of Johnson, who seemed to get a touch in every capacity.
And he did what he needed. Beat Franco, just didn't have clean contact with the ball.
Meanwhile, drop pass comes Frio Segura. Swung that wide. No one tested the goalkeepers, Morgan.
That was the thing. There were so many shots in far out, and if they missed frame, they were out. Even if the goalkeepers got a touch on them, there was no one to follow, so nothing came from it.
Cortez and Johnson, a scoring duo that's among the best of the West of late, walking off without a goal. Look, shots on target, it's just so blatantly apparent neither team has tested the keeper.
I mean, and it's just not good enough from either side. It's not, especially two teams that have attacking threats who can get in behind. The chances are there, 10 shots, 5. I think most of those for both sides settled when they didn't need to. They could have been more dangerous, which would have led to more shots on frame. If they test the keeper, like you said, it's getting numbers in the box for follows, but it's just making the goalkeepers do something special rather than just bailing them out with shots from a distance that obviously are not on target.
Meanwhile, here's the upcoming schedule for Orange County. 3 of their next 5 opponents are in the top 3 of the USL West. Home against Swope, home against San Antonio, at Real Monarchs. This is really tough.
We spoke with Logan Paws, and he said he doesn't like saying must-win games. He says we need to win, and that started in their last homestand. Now they have to go on the road, back home for a little, then on the road, tough opponents, but they need to start picking up points, and it has to be more than just one.
They appear to be running out of time despite all these games in hand. Speaking of games in hand, Phoenix Rising's upcoming schedule reminds you that they have 10 games remaining with which to pick up points. They're at a very difficult venue, Widener Field for Colorado Springs next, and then that same Real Monarchs team before going up to Cascadia.
And they have a lot on the line. Being that last team right now in the playoff picture, they can continue to improve their spot, but they could also drop out. So that's why points for them are very important. They're hopefully getting Drogba back soon, which will just be an extra tool in their attack. But not a simple schedule for them either, especially with those games in hand, which is a good thing, but it's also comes down to managing your players because that's a lot of playing and a lot of minutes towards the end of the season.
Only 3 points from 6th place in the West in Sacramento with 3 games in hand. Meanwhile, here's the upcoming ESPN3 Game of the Week schedule. Reno, who could have thunk? 5 straight wins for them. Orange County is obviously playing here tonight and trying to find their way back up. Phoenix trying to find their way back up. OKC, another team that's right on the edge of playoff position.
And they're a team I always like watching because I think they do a really good job of seeing their opponent and kind of adjusting to who they are playing. And Reno's a team that the offensive firepower that team has right now, I mean, is so difficult to stop. But I think Oklahoma City is a team that will be able to really study their opponent and then try to bring out the best defensive lineup that they can and try to attack that as well as they can. But, I mean, just good matchups all across. You never know what's going to happen in a midweek game, but as we get closer to the finish line of the season, it just comes down to all these games.
All 8 teams there could conceivably make the conference playoffs in the West among the first 3. and the East for Rochester and Bethlehem. Meanwhile, major milestone in the United Soccer League reached over the weekend. Morgan, you and I were watching 3 games at once, waiting to see who it would be. It's Monday A team who scores goal number 1,000, 2017.
It was like the goal watch. We had so many games. I'm just waiting to see so many. A lot of teams got so close multiple times. Phoenix was playing at the same time. We didn't know if they would knock one in, but A team was there for the finish. That's something that both of these sides are missing. The shot from distance, which is fine, but A team was there to finish it. He's able to score the 1,000th goal for the league, which is a big moment, but that's something that his team could use tonight as well.
And maybe a little bit of luck as well. Pineda, who's available off the bench tonight, sending it wide. We saw Franco get opportunities in that opening half. A lucky Karam out towards the corner that's handled by Alvarez, who sends it back in, and a goalkeeper bobble that always helps.
I mean, definitely. You don't always see a goalkeeper do that, but the run is there. A team's there to clean it up. That's what you need the person for, in case there's a bobble, in case there's a poor clearance.
Here's the USL Power Rankings from USLsoccer.com, which, of course, had a full rundown of the 1,000 goals scored this year. Right foot, left foot, header. Nicholas Murray doing a great job with that, as always. Here's the Power Rankings. Again, Reno, I don't know that anyone saw this coming. Louisville City in the East. Well, maybe everybody saw them coming at this point.
I think Reno's definitely the story, especially going into playoffs, that they can continue to make a run. I think it's difficult to be a team at the top because, you know, it's saying there's nowhere to go but down. So it's difficult to be a team like Real Monarchs, who have just been a step above the rest most of the season. So for a team like Reno, who's still going into new waters, they're still figuring it all out. If they can make a run in the playoffs, that's kind of something you dream of.
Right now, everything they do is a little bit of history. The same could be said for Phoenix, who have not reached the playoffs yet. Patrice Cartaron has spoken about the importance of reaching that point. He thinks it would be a major step in the development of this franchise. And his side has lost just twice in 11 games under his tutelage. Sitting next to him, Rick Schantz, who took over from Frank Yallop earlier in the year. This Phoenix side, a bit of turmoil this year, and yet they're playing as well as they ever have in their franchise's history. They look to go 6 unbeaten with a win or draw tonight, a franchise record, while Orange County tries to stem off an 8-game winless streak as long as their franchise is ever seen. We're on to the second half. Irvin Parra is healthy enough to continue on. Came off to get checked after contact to the head late in the first half. Sorto allows this out. And Lyon a quick restart for an Orange County side that at times looks like they have the offense together. And at others, again, it's too complex. They simply turn the ball over at the wrong moment. See if the aggression is there for a team 11th right now in the West. Left that a bit short. Johnson, the initial touch, and now Wright Phillips. Wakasa available, Regi. Vasquez, and now Lambert. Start number 3 for Lambert with this Phoenix franchise. Regi, service, snap down to Oseguda, and knocks it out for a Phoenix corner, in part due to Wakasa's effort.
Regi and Wakasa doing a nice job of just interchanging there. Regi finding the ball in a dangerous spot for him because of the angle he's able to approach that ball with. And then Wakasa does a nice job of following up with that pressure to force the corner kick for Phoenix.
Former Chelsea man, Sean Wright Phillips. Outswinger, ramage, a header, bounces down in the 6. Still alive, edge of the area, and it's tapped by Cortez right into Lyon.
That's a good start to the second half for Phoenix. You see the buildup, you see Regi get forward, Wakasa with the overlap, and then you see numbers in the box fighting for the ball. Originally, I thought Cortez could have gone up for the initial corner, but he was ready for the rebound and probably took the more difficult opportunity, but still he was going for it. And I think that's a really good thing to build off of in the second half.
Cortez 3 goals on the year, including, of course, that one against Orange County that we saw in pregame. Chaplow, sliding effort, well done by Wakaso's, and a strong start to the second half. Wakasa at times was out of the lineup a bit. We saw Amadou Dia start a little bit with this new coaching staff in place. Patrice Cartaron has shuffled the deck a little bit, trying to find who belongs where. Well, this is a nice flick back by Pacheco. Goes beyond his foot. Van Avijk arriving, slide by Stewart. Van Avijk able to circle around, puts it out for a throw to Phoenix.
Jordan Stewart is so solid for Phoenix back there, especially along with Peter Ramage. They work really well together. This ball slides through, and he does a great job of getting a touch on it, and then it's forced off Van Avijk. He can't get around the other side. They just do a really good job of disrupting the attack of the other team.
It's Alessandro Rigi. We haven't really seen a lot of players who can individually break a team down between these two sides thus far. At times, Johnson, but Rigi's a guy who can take the ball at any place in the field and create more space than there was before he got it.
And he had an opportunity towards the end of the first half, and that was really the first moment in a while, I would say probably since the first couple of minutes, where I was reminded that Rigi was out there. It was just quiet, whether or not they weren't finding him, whether he wasn't making those runs. There just wasn't enough productivity from him and from his side, because like you said, he is a player that truly can turn a game upside down, especially if you have a player like Jason Johnson on the other side that Orange County has to be aware of. So that's a place where he can really take advantage. And I think in the second half, they need to continue to find him, because similar to movement, if they keep going to Rigi, that opens up chances for Johnson, and he's a player that they want to find him behind.
Para chipping this toward the corner. Vasquez took it away before Van Avijk got on the ball. Matt Watson, who's back into the starting lineup for the 20th time this year. And now Rigi came over from Montreal. Fouled by Alvarez from behind, the former UConn midfielder of the year in the Big East, having played with San Antonio last year. Cortez went down a bit easily, and Hume walking away. Chaplow put his arms out as if to say what caused that to occur. Van Avijk, Watson slid it away, if only initially. Now Para continuing on. Irvin Para off of Stewart, who's been in seemingly every central passing lane all night long. It's out for a corner.
For a player like Kevon Lambert, as that ball was finding its way back, you see him tap the ball just to try to get a little touch, but it goes back towards Vasquez, who can't get a clean touch on it. So that's a place, for a player like Kevon Lambert, who is usually so clean on the ball and defensively keeps the team organized and is able to clean up mistakes, his touch was very difficult to control for Vasquez and forced him to go back because he couldn't play it out with his first touch.
So Chaplow lining up the corner kick for Orange County in the 53rd, and it's knocked over the bar and continues along the goal line by Cohen. Appeal for a handball goes unheard and all the way down to Lyon. Chaplow misfiring on the pass. He nearly put this in the net on the corner.
And he forces Cohen to make a save, but defensively for Phoenix, for the number of players that they have in the box, for not one to win that second ball just isn't good enough. The intensity just isn't there for either team, and I understand it's a tough point in the season. They've played a lot of minutes, but if a ball is up in the air in your own box defensively, you just can't let the other team have it, and that's exactly what that looked like for Phoenix.
Ramage back, and Cohen lifts it toward the halfway line. Johnson, Cortez, a couple of classy touches. Chaplow took it away and slid in hard on Johnson. A yellow card for now will stay in the pocket. It sure looked like he was reaching for it.
Might have talked his way out of that one.
The referee may have talked himself out of it.
That's a card. His studs are up in the air. I understand he's saying he got the ball, but the way that he approached that, he's already gotten spoken to once earlier this game. I don't think you can let that one slide, even if it was unintentional. The way he goes in for that tackle just is not, that's not okay.
All right, Phillips lining it up. Chaplow, 6 yellow cards on the season. He's no stranger to the detention slip. 9 minutes into the second half. Wright Phillips into the area. It's knotted out. Chaplow collecting. Lambert washing him out. Play will come all the way back. Segura. Chaplow, it's Para. Chaplow moving ahead. Under the foot of Lambert, Osegura. Lofting up the left flank, Alvarez taking on Ramage, sending service into the box past Para, and Cohen picks it up.
I love that little split ball in behind from Alvarez. The way it's curling, it forces Cohen to come off his line, but once again, Jordan Stewart just does a great job of using his body, getting in front there to not allow Para a straight path to that ball.
Casa right up the line, Cortez taken away by Osegura, and now pushed up by Hume. Lambert trying to body the ball away, sliding in hard. The appeal for a yellow card unheard.
Lambert just tries to go in hard. I think at that moment, he's beaten. The ball is past him. He does not have a chance to stop Chaco there. Just tries to do all that he can to get a foot in.
Liver, Chaco. This is perfect for Osegura. This will come all the way to the goal line. Cohen's got it. Hey fans, stay up to date. The latest USL news and information from around the United Soccer League on USL Coast to Coast, Mondays 4 p.m. Pacific on SiriusXM FC Channel 85. Don't forget, SiriusXM FC airs the USL Game of the Week. Check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. Off the head of Vasquez. Johnson. Chaco. And Johnson takes over again. Haven't heard that name much in the second half. Maybe he'll do something significant, something special here. It's a good dribble from Johnson. Wright Phillips. Sean Wright Phillips off of Chaplow, and a couple of players with English Premier League experience involved on the play there.
Wright Phillips just trying to get a little touch. He's going for the shot once again. Chaplow does a great job defensively of sliding in, but I think the biggest issue I have with this game right now is there's nothing that makes it special. There's no spice or bite to it. It's just very basic. There's just nothing, no player is stepping up and doing anything special. You see Jason Johnson in that last play find the ball wide. He easily just dribbles past his player, but he's not working hard to do that. He just has a couple extra steps on him. There's just no explosion from either side.
Vasquez pushing up, Johnson now. It's a bit ironic that we talk about playing a simpler game, and yet that simpler game has led to a bit of a game without bite, I think is a fair way to put it. Both teams missing some significant star power tonight. Wilito Fernandez, a big engine for Orange County on international duty with Cape Verde. On the other side, Didier Drogba is in London, has been with Chelsea, trying to overcome a groin injury. Wakasa. Chaco trying to go through for Van Avijk. Hey, soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the United Soccer League. More information, NikeSoccer.com. Lanson Awako is putting his Phoenix jersey on for the very first time. He may be a part of this equation. Johnson, Watson getting forward off of Sorto.
And that's something special. It's a run coming from the midfield, deep in the midfield, because Watson is a player that sits deeper.
32-year-old Matt Watson getting forward is a cause for celebration in this game.
I mean, especially with how this game's going, Chris Cortez is not providing anything up top. He's not making those runs, so if it has to come from the defensive midfield area, I'll take it.
Sean Wright Phillips has options. Ramage certainly one. He's headed in corners before. Wright Phillips for Wakasa. Cortez put that out. It's a goal kick to Orange County. And Cortez's number is over at the fourth official. Gladson Awako is in for his USL debut. Speaking with Patrice Cartaron, he said he really wanted to give fans at the end of this homestand a chance to see Awako in person. For Cortez, he maybe never found his footing tonight.
Not his best outing. There just wasn't, he just looked tired out there. You could see, especially late in that first half, not a lot of movement coming from Cortez. Usually he's a player that can post up on his defenders, use his body, and get in the attack. He just didn't provide much for Phoenix tonight.
Well, there's a bit of energy from Awako, and he goes slamming in. Chaplow and Awako both still down. That is the most physical opening 20 seconds to a USL career I've ever seen. Awako's back up. Chaplow is still down. I know Logan Paul said in the press release when they signed him, a guy who's not just a big signing for Orange County and growing the game in that market, but for the USL on the whole. Another one of the big names that came in, along with your Sean Wright Phillips and your Joe Coles and your Didier Drogbas. Speculate as Chaplow is attended to. Logan Paws simply can't be without Chaplow at this present moment. We spoke a bit about a trio in the midfield. We don't see Zach Kobayashi in the lineup. He is available off the bench, but he's a big part along with Chaplow and Oliver as well.
And when I asked about that, Logan Paws was saying how they're still kind of trying to find the rhythm for what they want, but game after game, Richard Chaplow is their guy. He's in there. He just brings the experience, his leadership, and He's a big part of that midfield for them. So whether they're trying to find their rhythm, the one thing that they have been counting on is Chaplow.
The yellow card comes out. It appeared to go to Owako. At least at first glance, although he and Chaplow both put into precarious positions. Patrice Carteron really was excited to welcome Owako into the equation. Why does he know so much about him? Well, it's pretty obvious. Vincent Owako played for him in Africa, but also trialed at Inter Milan as well as Tottenham previously, so he has at least some experience at the very highest levels of European soccer. A very young age, now 26. On the restart, ball lined in, headed back across, a touch from Johnson, comes free, picked up by Lyon.
And that was probably one of Phoenix's best chances in the second half. The way that the ball was able to be headed back across. Johnson works hard to get on the end of that ball. Doesn't connect completely, but it looks like he's pushed higher to that central forward role, and I like that because he's a dynamic player. He's going to move around. They've brought Owako more central, so I want to see what Johnson can do in that central role rather than playing more on the wing.
Casa couldn't keep it in play. The yellow card did go to Richard Chaplow. It's his 7th yellow of the year. And so Chaplow, the captain's armband, will play on a caution the rest of the way. It's Hume, his brother Tucker playing for Ottawa Fury, so 2 Hume in the USL now. Although I think there are questions to be had about the correct plural of Hume.
Humes?
2 Humes. Crossfield pass.
Humai?
Humai. It's Regi. 1 Regi. Although Regi itself sounds rather plural. Would it be Regis?
Regi?
Regi. On the corner. Oh, no. Regi near the ball. '66th minute now. Owako, immediate burst of energy into the game, slid away from him. Native of Ghana.
And I think that's something that this game needs, is really injecting that energy and a little bit of a switch up top, putting Johnson to that high forward position, taking Cortez out to give him a break, and allowing Owako to come in and use his energy, not from just having fresh legs and being a sub, but from making his USL debut. That's something he's going to want to prove. So I like that sub, obviously a little earlier sometimes than you see Cortez come off, but I like it. I think that's great timing, and I'm a fan of that sub.
I think when you think about their schedule right now, Patrice Carteron says we can't give less than 100% in our games, in our lineups. Neither team at this stage, being at the edge of playoff position, can really feel like they can lay off the gas with their rotation. Maybe Cortez did need a bit of a blow tonight. Lest we forget that it's over 100 degrees the last few days in Phoenix. And Avike hiding with Vasquez, who's guilty of the foul. 68th minute, and off the foul by Vasquez. Van Avijk a chance to serve. Hume is only 6'5". Van Avijk. Vasquez makes the mess and he cleans it up, and it's a long run out. Gladson Awako continuing on. He's out in front now. Contact for Awako as Wright Phillips tried to play it to his feet. And Wright Phillips left it a bit too far. It's merely a goal kick. The two getting forward, Awako bursting out of the box and into a position where Wright Phillips could play him. Victor Pineda set to come on. And enough for Chaplow, who's playing on that yellow card.
You see him hobbling off a little bit. After that hard tackle, I think it was taking him a while to get back into the game. Pineda, a player who also has been playing in that central area with Chaplow, was also called one of the engines of their team, someone they can really rely on. So Chaplow's not a player that Logan Paws would like to take out of the game, but if he has to, Pineda is obviously a solid player in his own right and can definitely control that midfield as well.
Pineda, 24 years old, played as a homegrown with the Chicago Fire with Logan Paws. One in the twilight of his career, the other just beginning it. As the ball will come back. Hey fans, the USL remains one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world. It features some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Staying up to date on all the latest league news and information is easy. Visit USLsoccer.com or follow on Twitter @USL. Casa touch. Oseguda. Good lively crowd in Phoenix tonight. 70th minute. Scoreless between Orange County and Phoenix. These two teams have provided late equalizers in each of their first two meetings this year. Pineda. Pineda sends it low. It's a bit behind the run of Para. Back by Van Avijk, and now Rigi charging the other way. Johnson making a diagonal run out into the corner. Sorto picks it up. Didier Drogba in the final moment of stoppage time earlier this year in a 1-1 draw. Shola Abalaji, who's unavailable tonight due to a red card in the most recent game, a 3-1 loss to Reno for Orange County, scoring on a header in the 89th minute. A 1-1 draw in that affair as well. This is the 14th all-time meeting between these two Western Conference clubs. Pineda. Ian Ramage both motioning, and Phoenix wins the throw. Hume went down. Was able to keep the ball for Orange County. Wakasa across the halfway line. Lambert. Wakasa across the halfway line. Now Wright Phillips. Wright Phillips and Awako seem to have a nice early interchange. It's Johnson. Trying to cut central. Turned over. Watson, arms outstretched. I think he's looking for movement. It's a bit static right now from Phoenix.
But it's simple from Phoenix. I think if Orange County is trying to play simple soccer, that's what it looks like. Passing to your teammates, moving to spaces, not forcing anything. At times you can be a little dangerous. Owako had the ball at his feet, win a little central when he needed to, then was able to pop it back out. It's not forcing anything, taking what they give you, but then otherwise just making simple passes.
Stewart returning, Lambert. Bouncing to Wakasa. Left that short, taken away. Oliver thought he had an additional runner in Pineda. Instead, Watson charges forward. It's Johnson, a touch, and Lyon able to get down and make the stop. Not a ton of pace on it, but it was a tricky redirection.
Hume did a nice job on that final one as well, getting a touch, but it's so difficult. You see Matt Watson trying to quarterback his team around, telling them where to go, but it's so tough. You see Regi on the top part of your screen on that left side trying to call for the ball to try to just find it over the top in behind all those players, but Orange County did a nice job of being difficult to break down. But on the other side of that, I like Phoenix, how they were patient.
This is a Phoenix team that Patrice Carteron hasn't really said, you know, we're winning 2 straight games. He said we're really difficult to beat right now, which is not something that he felt he could say when he first took over the club. He's thinking about it. It comes down to Pacheco again. Van Avike lifting the ball across. Ramage clears. Para hops it in the air.
And I think what's key about Patrice Carteron making that statement is that it means first things first, defensively, it's good enough. Defensively, you're hard to beat. Defensively, you're hard to get scored on, which is great because if you don't get scored on, you've already set yourself up to get points, which sounds so simple, but that's why being difficult to beat is so key because you put yourself in a great position.
And for Cohen, he comes off a game where he got a shutout against Seattle. That's the 3rd shutout for Phoenix all year long. They're a team that's really struggled to shut teams down. Johnson trying to get in behind Pineda. Moving a bit further back. The turn. Wright Phillips. Mwako. Wright Phillips playing to Watson. Was able to bring it down despite the pressure from Para, who's playing all the way behind the ball. And now the switching ball. Regi. Franco. Very patient right now from Phoenix. Watson did get that over Van Avike, who was able to respond in like. Alessandro Regi will give it a shot. Well, that sky is well wide of the post. Hey fans, stay up to date. The latest USL news and information from around the league is on USL Coast to Coast. Mondays, 4 p.m. Pacific on SiriusXM FC Channel 85. And there are games airing all week long on SiriusXM FC. Check USLsoccer.com and SiriusXM.com for dates and times. Still scoreless. These 2 teams have drawn twice already this year. Van Avike trying to avoid a third. Van Avike. Alvarez got a touch. Para skips with a lot of English on it. Out over the end line.
Cody Wakasa from that right back position did a really nice job of jumping when he saw Carlos Alvarez at the top of the box. He was waving his arms, wanted the ball back across to him. It came there, and Wakasa did a nice job of closing that down because the way that ball comes across is if Alvarez has a clean look on frame and has a clean shot on frame, That's very good odds for Orange County.
Alvarez into dangerous territory, got tripped up. Alvarez signed by Los Angeles FC, which is set to join MLS. 26 years old, a native of the City of Angels. He's played in the last two, but was out for some 6 or 7 weeks. Playing a starring role in San Antonio's excellent expansion season. Hey, soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the United Soccer League. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. Stewart guiding it to Rigi. Wako too far for Rigi. Rigi side-swiped, and Oliver keeping it despite that pressure. Lambert, the turn by Wright Phillips. Sean Wright Phillips continuing on. Johnson into the area, leaves it outside. Franco tapped it away.
Cody Wakasa was making a run at the bottom of the screen, coming from the right back, getting forward, but at that moment Phoenix just has tunnel vision. They're not able to bring it back to find the other side. It's so tight there, so no one could have hit it to the other side. But at that moment, you see Johnson just wanting to go to his left, trying to find Rigi on that left side, and they couldn't open up and see the other.
James Baxendale set to come on. Orange County trying to find a late goal here to end an 8-game winless streak in which they've scored just 5 times. Gary Van Avike, the player comes off.
Baxendale made a very big impact when he came in the game for Orange County in the last meeting against Phoenix. He was able to get up and down the flank. His service was really good. So with only about 10 minutes left plus stoppage, he can have a big impact in this game. Fresh legs. His service was really key in that last game.
Back on August the 18th, just 2 short weeks ago. A 1-1 draw. Cortez the goal scorer for Phoenix. Shola Abalaji in his debut for Orange County, scoring in the final minute. It's the way we always thought that story would play out, I'm sure. Meanwhile, there's a couple new players in the equation for Orange County who could have a similar impact. Baxendale making himself available. 2 players brought in on loan in the last 10 hours by Orange County, both in the starting lineup. Chaco and Hume both. Oseguda now, who's on loan in his own right. Hume out of North Carolina. Oseguda, how did he get this far upfield? Off of Wakasa. It's a corner. I think Ramage is asking the same question I am. That must have been one well-timed run.
He looked like he just pulled extremely wide and was able to slip in behind Wakasa. That's also a place, though, as an outside back, Cody Wakasa can't go stand next to Oseguda because then he's just completely disconnected from the other back 3. So he has to play central, but I don't even think he really saw the run coming from Oseguda.
Corner coming for Orange County. Bounce back. Against the contact Wright Phillips skids out. Won it all in the Premier League with Chelsea back in 2006. Nearly 500 appearances at the highest level of English football, including 36 caps with the national team in England. His brother continuing to light it up for New York Red Bulls, Bradley Wright Phillips. His dad, a pretty good footballer himself. Not to sell anyone in the family short. Well-deserved moment to get a little water for a guy who's small in stature, but man, he has a lot of heart and he has a lot of energy.
He works really hard. A big part of the Phoenix attack, and then works hard in defending. I mean, really good on set pieces. He's their guy. That's difficult to always have to run from wherever he is on the field to wherever the set pieces are. Very underestimated. Takes a lot of energy, but he's just a guy that they can count on. I mean, obviously you hear his resume, you know what he's done, but to continue to be able to play at such a high level, it's just impressive from him.
Sorto clears, and you think about Wright Phillips, he needed a good imagination because they brought him out to the site of this stadium and there was nothing there. The satellite images still at times show nothing here. Came up in 53 days. Frank Yallop, who at the time was leading up the franchise, has now taken over the expansion team in Fresno. Convinced him to be a part of this Phoenix group, along with Omar Bravo and Didier Drogba. It was a major turning point to bring Shaun Wright Phillips into the equation. Regi, Lambert. Will Lambert have a go? Sends it low, wide of Lyon. Subs are coming, maybe a late injection of energy. A.J. Gray and Sam Hamilton. Von Lambert will come off. A good defensive presence from Lambert.
It was interesting when we spoke with Patrice Carter and I asked him about Lambert, because you see him on the field and he's the destroyer for them. He's in that role defensively. And the way that Coach Carter spoke about him was, he spoke about him so highly, just said he's so key. And he said, in his words, he's just a true defensive midfielder. And he said oftentimes fans who come to the games, they see the more flashy players, the ones who are more tricky. And he said Lambert is a player that gets the ball and does what needs to be done and then feeds it to the fancier players so they can do what they do. But he just spoke so highly of him and said that he sets up the other players, he keeps them organized, and just really good centrally for this Phoenix Rising team.
And Gray on for Shaun Wright Phillips as well. So a couple changes for Phoenix. They've laid all their cards on the table now. Not a great clearance. Stabbed further by Stewart. Popped up by Watson. Headed toward the space he vacated. And it was a dangerous leg up. Ramage, who saw his kids return to England. He scored both of his goals while they were in the States. Saying this week on Phoenix Rising's website, he's not sure he's ever going to score again without them in the stands. It's a nice thought. I think Phoenix wouldn't mind another goal or two from him before it's all said and done.
I don't think so at all.
Miu's set to come on for Orange County in the final 3 minutes. Carlos Alvarez will trot off. So Chaplow, Alvarez, and Van Avike, the players who came off in the end. Baxendale, Pineda, and now Miu's the players who came on for Orange County.
Jason Johnson wanted that ball back off Wakasa. Before Wakasa threw the ball, and you could see Johnson motioning to try to throw it short, get the ball back at his feet and chip it in. Wasn't exactly where he wanted to go with it, but Johnson was hoping that ball would fall to him on the chip back into the box.
Lofted toward Johnson, can't keep it in. The USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date. Latest league news and information visiting USLsoccer.com. Morgan, where could they look on Twitter?
At USL?
That's it. Still waiting for a goal highlight here. Vasquez, service, Johnson nearly tapped that home. Well, both teams now could see their lengthy streaks continue. Orange County on the verge of a 9th consecutive game without a win. Phoenix to make it 6 without a loss. Gray, good switch. Gray sending it low, rebound off the post. Johnson off the post a second time. Regi sends it back up top toward Hamilton, and it's cleared. Now the ball crossed. Too far for Gray, and Phoenix has to rue this.
How unlucky. AJ Gray finds the space to chip the ball in. Owaka almost there. Johnson off balance, tries to get his leg there. Regi there for the second follow-up once again. Owako does a great job of getting a foot to the first one. Johnson does all he can, because at that moment his body weight is on the wrong side of his body. He's leaning the other way, tries to make it work. It's one of those where you just wish your mind and your leg were on the same page, because that was so close.
And you could watch the fans in the background equally mystified, as I'm sure fans at home were, that stayed out. The first post had fans with their hands on their head. The second had them dipping backwards. 2 minutes of added time. Is there another late goal in this rivalry this year? Owako, who came so close to making an immediate impact with his new team. This kept in at the corner flag. Too high for Johnson. Breakout on for Oliver. Toward Para. Play will come back. Johnson looking back to the official, flabbergasted.
Late heroics. We've seen it before.
We almost saw it again.
I mean, we've had multiple chances in the final couple minutes between these two teams. I don't know what it is about 89, 90 plus that really gets these teams going, but we've seen it.
Could it be the last minute of stoppage time again? Not for Orange County, at least not yet. Phoenix will try and push numbers ahead. They're looking for a 3-game winning streak. And if you don't know much about Phoenix and their soccer history, they don't do that much. Hume. Wako. Kept by Gray. That excellent service on that initial play. Running into Muse, continuing on. There's contact, he goes down. There's going to be a free kick for Phoenix. It may well end up being the final kick of the game.
AJ Gray set that up perfectly, because either he was beating both defenders and gone in behind, or he was going to be dragged down for a free kick like you just saw. He did a fantastic job of trying to drag it central to draw more numbers to him. And then as he tried to explode away, was obviously pulled down. But this is a good chance for Phoenix. I mean, I don't know what it is the last couple minutes.
But no Drogba, no Cortez, no Wright Phillips. You're down to Regi, may well be your 4th option.
But still not a bad option.
Not at all. It's better than putting him in the box.
That's for sure.
Regi. Opportunity to serve this in the game's final seconds. Alessandro Regi headed away. Full time, nobody there for Phoenix, and it finishes 0-0. 3 games between these teams this year, 3 draws. They share the spoils. Phoenix stays in playoff position. Both teams games in hand. Orange County inching closer with a road result at Phoenix.
And that's a frustrating one for both sides. For the amount of opportunities they had, granted they weren't dangerous enough, but for the amount of times that they were looking on frame, just couldn't get one to fall.
Shutouts for Phoenix and Orange County. Banditos, Furia Roja were waiting for the goal to come. Both Lyon and Cohen did enough. The posts just as good. Highlights after this.
Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Goalkeepers, both posts, unbeaten in Phoenix tonight. Phoenix rising, Orange County finish at full time, 0-0 in the USL game of the week. Back with Morgan Conklin, Mike Watts. Both teams will come away with a point. Both teams really wanted more in truth. We look back at the full-time highlights from this affair, and from the beginning, half chances galore, all from outside the 18.
Well, going into half, no shots on goal. No shots on target. I think that was probably the closest. Jason Johnson, extremely dangerous. Early on, a little quiet in the middle minutes, was able to come back in the second half, but he was creating. This was really a good opportunity that if Regi's touch was a little cleaner, he would have been able to strike the ball cleaner, and it would have forced a save for Lyon rather than hitting it off frame.
Van Avek, maybe the best chance for Orange County in this game.
A great chance for Orange County in this game. Van Avek taking on his defenders, dancing a little bit at the top of the box, cutting with his left foot. That way that ball bends is so dangerous.
Follow up here for Oseguda before halftime.
And a good strike, but not on frame. And I think that was kind of the story for both sides, is good contact, good strikes, but not on frame.
Second half of play, Cohen did just enough to keep this out.
And I don't know where that ball exactly would have fallen, but it forces Cohen to make a save. There's just no one on the back post to make that ball dangerous.
Phoenix getting forward, ball knocked down by Johnson, picked up by Lyon.
And that was the first of a couple moments where we saw Johnson get a touch on it, but not enough. He was under pressure, did all that he could, but couldn't get a clean touch on the ball.
Gray, Lyon off the post from Owako, off from Johnson, and maybe tonight it just wasn't meant to be.
Sometimes you just can't get the game to fall, and that's one of them. You see AJ Gray do exactly what he needs to do, forces Lyon to get a touch. Owako can't get it to fall. Johnson's there, Regi's there for the follow-up. Sometimes you just can't get it, and it's so frustrating. But that was the story of the night for both sides.
Just enough for Lyon. Shutout number 6 of the year, shutout number 3 of the year for Cohen. Shots on target, dose, both for Phoenix.
And 20 shots, 2 on target, just that's not good enough. But also for Orange County, they only had 1 shot in the second half. They weren't able to build enough. They had a little bit of energy with the subs that they made, but didn't make enough of a difference. Their possession, they obviously won that stat. They outpassed they were good, but it just wasn't dangerous. It didn't build into anything.
Meanwhile, next up on the ESPN3 docket, it's off to Reno and Oklahoma City Energy. It's Wednesday, September 20th. OKC needs points if they're going to keep moving into playoffs at all. Reno, they could host home games in the playoffs.
And that's what's exciting for a team like Oklahoma City that needs points to be able to face a team that's doing very well this season. They have so much to play for.
Phoenix now 6 unbeaten through this ESPN3 United Soccer League Game of the Week. It's a franchise record. Orange County unable to come away with a win. They get a draw on the road under the full moon of the Phoenix Desert. Fans were excited for this one. Third draw between these teams this year. The Posts coming up with as many saves as the goalkeepers tonight. For Ava Ponte and director Tom Pirro, Jonathan Tellicher, and Morgan Conklin, the analyst, Mike Watts saying so long from Phoenix. They'll split the spoils. It finishes tonight in Phoenix, 0-0. Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.